Good evening, class 11. Today I'll be starting a new chapter, classification of elements and periodicity in properties. Now, before getting into the details of this chapter, first we'll discuss about some early attempts that were made to classify the elements. Okay, early attempts to classify elements. Number one is Dobryner's law of triads. Dobryner's law of triad. So let's define this. He created a group of 3 elements called triad. According to him, the atomic mass of the middle element must be equal to the average of the atomic masses of other 2 elements. So he told that he first of all created a group of 3 elements, and that group was only known as triad, and he told that only those elements could be placed in the triad where the atomic mass of the middle element is equal to the average of the atomic masses of the other 2 elements. Okay, for example, he grouped lithium, sodium, potassium together. Lithium, the mass is 7, sodium mass is 23, and potassium 39. If I apply Dobryner's law to this group, then what should I write? Atomic mass of sodium is equal to 7 plus 39 by 2. Okay, this is the average, right? And this is equals to 23. So here the Dobryner's law was followed, right? It's exactly equal. Okay. Other elements like chlorine, bromine, iodine, they were also grouped under Dobryner's law, and these 3 elements were also following that. But elements like fluorine, chlorine and bromine, they were not following this law. If I apply this law, fluorine, we know atomic mass is 9, chlorine is 35.5, also are calculated masses, bromine, it is 80. If I apply Dobryner's law, so atomic mass of the middle element is chlorine equals to 9 plus 80 is 89 by 2, that is 44.5. Right? So here you see it's 35.5, is 44.5, so it's highly variable, so it was not obtained, it was not following Dobryner's law. So we know that fluorine, chlorine, bromine, they are all similar group elements. So this law could not explain the properties of the similar group elements. That's why this law was discarded. After this, the second attempt was your Newland's law of octaves. Newland's law of octaves. Newland's law of octaves. According to him, when the elements when the elements were arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses, the properties of every eighth element was similar to the properties of the first element. This he told. That is, when the elements were arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses, properties of every eighth element similar to the properties of the first element. Now this theory or this law worked well for the lighter ones, but it didn't work well for the heavier ones. And after the discovery of noble gases, this law became invalid. Right? So we had to cancel it. The third one is Mendeleev's periodic law. Mendeleev's periodic law. Mendeleev's periodic law. So let's define it. According to this, the properties of an element are periodic function of their atomic masses. Right? So this was the definition given by Mendeleev. He told that the properties of the elements, periodic functions of their atomic masses. Now, what is the meaning of this periodic function? Periodic function means if the elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses, then there will be a repetition in the properties of the element at regular intervals. This repetition of the properties is basically known as periodicity or periodic function. Right? So he told basically this repetition is due to this atomic masses of the elements. Okay? So he was the first one to arrange the elements in tabular form. He gave us an idea of groups and columns, that is, gave us an idea of periods, that is horizontal rows, and groups, that is vertical columns. He was the first one to categorize the elements in table and give the terms periods and groups. Okay, but his law had some drawback. Some major drawbacks are there, due to which his law has to be cancelled. Now, what were the drawbacks? First one was drawbacks. Drawbacks means disadvantages. Okay. First one was position of hydrogen was not confirmed. Position of hydrogen was not confirmed. Actually, hydrogen has the capacity to form both cation and anion. So the position of hydrogen was not confirmed means whether it is to be present with metals or non-metals, that thing was not confirmed. Second, position of isotopes were not mentioned. This is a major drawback because we know like here the elements are arranged in increasing order of the atomic masses, right? So here isotope position is not given. This is one of the major drawback. Third, lanthanides and actinides. These are two separate elements. We'll talk about them later on. When not given position. Okay. Fourth, different elements were present together. Different elements were placed together. Were placed together. For example, potassium, copper. These two elements are present together, though we know that potassium and copper, they have totally different properties. I mean, both are metals, but their features are entirely different. Next drawback is argon's atomic mass is 39.9 and potassium's atomic mass is 39.1. We know that the elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses. So obviously the one with lesser mass should come first, followed by the one with greater mass. So if I follow the periodic law, then argon should come after potassium. The arrangement should be this. Right, but in the periodic table, that is in the periodic law given by Mendeleev. In Mendelev's periodic table, we are seeing that argon is placed before potassium. And the reason we don't know. Why is it so? I mean, he only gave the law and then again he's only not obeying it. Next, the cause of periodicity. Cause of periodicity. Periodicity means the repetition in the properties of the elements was not explained. Periodicity, the cause of periodicity is not explained. These are the drawbacks. Okay, now what happened? Moseley, another scientist, he modified Mendeleev's periodic law and he gave modern periodic law, which is valid till today. Okay, Moseley modified Mendeleev's periodic law and gave the modern periodic law. What was this modern periodic law? What is it? Let's define. The properties of an element are periodic function of their atomic number. So he basically modified the atomic mass to atomic number. Right? Now if atomic number was considered, then the periodicity could be easily explained. Why? Because atomic number basically tells us about what? Tells us about the electronic configuration. So by considering this, we can easily explain the periodicity in the properties. So this law is absolutely okay, and we follow this till today. The modern periodic table, it basically comes from the modern periodic law. So how many periods we have? We have 7 periods and we have 18 groups. Right? Now what are these periods? Periods, we know. Periods are, they are the horizontal rows that we know, but what does it represent? It represents the number of shells. Number of shells in an atom. That is principal quantum number. What is the principal quantum number denoted as? Small n. Principal quantum number of the valence shell. Principal quantum number of the valence shell. Now what is the meaning of this? For example, if I say sodium atomic number is 11, so what is the electronic configuration? 11 atomic number, configuration is what? 281. So easily we can understand we have 3 shells. This was your class 10 identification. if class 11 I tell you what is the electronic configuration of sodium, you will not write 281, you will write this one. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. This is your electronic configuration as per class 10's concept. Because right now you know that shell consists of subshell and subshell consists of orbitals. So this thing you have to give. Now look into the term here, principal quantum number of the valence shell. For 1s, the principal quantum number, we know this term, n equals to 1. For 2s, 2p, the principal quantum number is 2. For this one, the principal quantum number is 3. So we'll go to the highest quantum number, highest principal quantum number. Now the highest principal quantum number is equal to the number of shells. So here the highest is 3. That means we have 3 shells over here. That manner you have to identify the periods. Right? This is your class 11's concept. Now, if I make a chart, basically that how many periods we know there are 7 periods now. What are the orbitals present in those periods? What are the elements present in those periods? Period, principal quantum number n, orbitals to be filled, and total number of elements or electrons present. Okay, so period 1, n is also 1, orbitals to be filled is 1s. Total number of electrons, now s orbital can maximum contain 2 electrons. This you have done your atomic structure. Okay, period 2, we have orbitals to be filled 2s, 2p. S has maximum 2, P has maximum 6. So 2 plus 6, 8. We have 8 elements or 8 electrons. Third period, orbitals are 3s, 3p, the ones which are filled. Here also we have 8 elements or 8 electrons. Fourth period, the orbitals are 4s, 3d, 4p. So S has maximum 2, D maximum 10 and P has 6 maximum. So overall we have 18 elements or 18 electrons. Fifth period, 5s, 4d, 5p. These are the orbitals that gets filled in the fourth period. Sorry, in the fifth period. Here also we have 18 elements. 2, 10, 6. Sixth, the orbitals to be filled are 6s, 4f, 5d and 6p. S has maximum 2, F maximum 14, D maximum 10, P maximum 6. So it makes 32. Seventh period, the last one, we have 7s, we have 5f, we have 6d and 7p. Here also we have 32 elements. So the first period consists of 2 elements only. So it is the shortest period. First one. Second and third, they are the short periods because they contain 8 elements. Fourth, fifth, they are the long periods containing 18 elements. Last 2 periods, that is 6 and 7, they are the longest periods. Okay, so this is basically your periods. Right, so today till this much. We'll continue the rest in the next class. Thank you.